Hi and welcome to my very first public video clip. Whoever said that old dogs can't learn new tricks? Well, I'm here to tell you that they can. It's been one hell of a learning curve, but here we are. Most of you will know me, but for those of you who haven't met me before, my name is Peter de Ruyter. I'm a herbalist and I've been in practice for about 32 plus years. In that time, I've consulted with thousands of people, and what it's done is given me a very broad and deep range of background information, experience and knowledge in a wide range of health issues. Now, in the latest bit of time, I've been putting a lot of that information into books. And my latest book, which is the one I'd really like to share with you today, is called Antibiotic Resistance Calamity or Opportunity. Now, many of you will have heard about antibiotic resistance because it's popping up in the news so much more lately. It's been creeping up on us for many years, but lately it is going much more exponential. This is no longer science fiction, it's really science fact, and it's serious science fact. If medicine can't come to grips with this very threatening health issue that is in front of us globally, not just in Australia, but globally, then much in our taken for granted health situation will be wiped away from us. It's not just that you might have an infection that doesn't quite respond to an antibiotic and it will take a bit longer to get better. If you have a serious infection that really doesn't respond to antibiotics, you can die. The other thing that you have to understand, and this is not usually talked about, is the fact that so many of our wonderful medical marvels that we take for granted every day, all organ replacements, all joint replacements, major brain surgery, all major surgeries, many cosmetic surgeries, and even a lot of cancer therapies can't be done safely if you don't have thorough, adequate, viable antibiotic coverage. So if we get to a stage where most of our antibiotics for most people just don't work anymore, a lot of that medical stuff will just go out the window and we'll be truly back to some pretty dark ages type of scenario. Where, for instance, if you have a bad fracture, a compound fracture where the bone is sticking out through your skin, this is highly likely to become infected. And if there's no antibiotic to treat it, the way to treat it may be an amputation. This is what they used to do in the olden days, and we might get back to that. Anyway, let's hope not. The reality is, of course, science will find new antibiotics, more powerful ones, more exotic ones, but that actually is not what we're really dealing with. The core issue that I'm trying to share in my new book, Antibiotic Resistance Calamity or Opportunity, is more the reality that what we're dealing with is a paradigm issue, a mindset. So just searching for new antibiotics that are stronger and better without making those deep fundamental changes in our health management, in our health prevention, particularly in regard to infection prevention and infection control and management, if those core concepts aren't taken on board at the same time, then even though we may find some new antibiotics in the future, we'll be just back to square one again. So this is a fundamental part of what I am trying to get across in this ebook. But there are many other things that we'll be sharing in the ebook as well. Why are we having antibiotic resistance? What generates it? In fact, what role do we play in that as individuals, as well as the role that medicine has played in generating this threatening scenario? And then there's, of course, food production, which has grossly misused antibiotics for so long, and frankly continues to do so. So in this book we'll be covering all of those sort of factors. We'll also be looking at a wide range of natural options that can be utilized either solo or in combination with antibiotics. Certain antibiotics can be, their power can be accentuated if you're using certain herbs to boost the immune system. And touching on immune system, this is something that's often not realized and very often not talked about. What needs to be understood is that there are many antibiotics used every single day which basically don't kill the bug, they only stun the bug. And then they depend on your immune system to be healthy enough to finish it off. But there's a huge assumption here, which is that your immune system is in fact doing quite well, thank you very much. but it may not be. And the reality is we don't even test for this. We just make that assumption, everybody's immune system, other than those that have full-blown AIDS or whatever, no, they're all okay, they're working fine. But that's not necessarily the case, as I say. The difficulty with this is that if you get an infection and your immune system is not strong enough, and you are given one of those antibiotics that depends on a viable immune function response, that antibiotic can fail. Well, that's bad enough in the sense that it wouldn't control your infection, but what is a deeper problem is it also gives those bugs a huge advantage and opportunity to become resistant. Now that's the more serious issue. So one thing that medicine usually doesn't look at in the overall way of managing infections is the role of the immune system. And I spend quite a lot of time in the book talking about all that as well. So fundamentally this is a clarion call, antibiotic resistance, and hence in the title that use of the word opportunity. It's not all desperate scenario. If we can see the opportunity in this grave situation, we can make amazing strides in medicine generally and in health very definitely. So the book will cover how we can do this. And one major way that we can do this is through the concept of life force. Now, for a lot of people immediately they think, oh my God, here we go into New Age territory. But you know, with quantum physics behind us now for 70 or 80 years, life force isn't such a mysterious thing anymore. By the same token, it's not something that I can quickly talk about in 5 minutes. So this is something I take a lot of time and effort to clearly delineate what it is, how we can influence it, what affects it negatively and positively. And all this knowledge gives us a great sense of empowerment in keeping our lives stronger and healthier, generally, but also in regard to infection control and infection prevention. So even if, and hopefully this is the case, you never ever have an infection that doesn't respond to antibiotics, may it be so for you. But even if that's the case, you will still find so much empowering information in this ebook that you can apply to your general health and daily life. And even if you're lucky enough to avoid having one of those antibiotic resistant infections, the likelihood, frankly, is that there will be some loved one, some friend, some colleague who won't be as lucky. And then it will be so good to have a book like this on your bookshelf or in your computer, that you know where it is, you can quickly and easily get access to it and start to implement the information that is all there ready for you. Now, I've made a book for you in both e-format and in hard copy. Personally, I still like the hard copy, so I'm sure there's many others of you who do as well. There's an Australian company called BookPOD. They're in Melbourne, and the link is just down below this video clip here. And the various other sources that will also provide you with ebooks and hard copy, but Amazon covers more the international market. For domestic market, BookPOD is the company to go to. So all that information is there for you below this video clip. And by the way, I would also really be grateful for any feedback that you can give me about what you feel I've discussed in this book, your comments, your questions, and so on. And also below this email, you'll find some links and information as to how to contact me about that. So basically, I wish you genuinely a very healthy, infection-free life journey ahead. Certainly for yourself and for all those you know. But if it should happen that there is someone in your sphere of influence who does come across an infection that is not being controlled, then at least you will have something with which to respond to that situation. So may you all remain healthy, and wishing you all the best, and that's goodbye for today.